Hey, you guys, it's your boy Rocky the Chicago author from Verse TV. I am your new host. Hey now! So check out, comment, like, and subscribe right now! Now! Chicago in this bitch!
All right, everybody, hello and welcome to yet another freshly squeezed installment of Verse TV's All the Tea. And we are here today. I'm Aaron Mack, your host for the evening, along with my good friend, Mr. Rocky Santana, Rocky, the Chicago author Santana, aka Marlon Stovall. Say hi to our audience, Rocky.
What's going on, audience? What's going on, Verse TV? Hello.
Yes, Hansi, yes. All right, so we just finished a wonderful show. Excellent, thank you very much. Now, for our audience who may not yet know, where are you from and how has that influenced your work?
So originally, I am from the southwest suburbs in Illinois called Justice. Then I just moved a year ago to Chicago. So I always say I'm from Chicago because I said that I'm from Justice. A lot of people wouldn't know where that's at. So, um, as far as um how has that influenced me? Um, just watching people, being around a lot of people, different personalities, being open to different people in the community. I just kind of just taking into just different people, learning from different people, learning about people's lives.
Okay, I dig that. Now, let's get in deeper into the meat and potatoes a little bit. So, you're an author, Rocky, the Chicago author, and among your books that you've written, most recently, your most recent writing is called Black Therapy. Now,
Mhm.
what inspired you to write Black Therapy? Now, I did read Black Therapy. I read it and it was it's a good book. And you're speaking from the perspective of a man of color who has different capabilities physically. And I really dig that. Anyway, I'm going to let you speak.
So, it just so happened during the quarantine. I was quarantined. Where we was all quarantined. The city was shut down, and one thing about me, I'm not a person that like to watch the news. I don't like politics. Never been a person that's into politics. But the person I was dating at the time was always into watching politics, and it was to the point that he wanted me to watch it. And for my mental health, I was just like, no, I am good. I've seen enough. Especially when you're living in Chicago and it's already stuff you hear on the news that is just it desensitizes you. It fucks with your mind a little bit. Excuse me for my French, but it really just boggles my mind. So there was this time where we were learning about George Floyd and some other people during the police brutality. And I was just like, you know what? This is the perfect time for me to motivate myself to do another book. Now, at first, I wasn't going to do another book because I was just like, I've been told so many times people don't read. I'm not, they want to hear audio. Black people don't read. or I've had my own people that call themselves my friend. Oh, I'm not gonna read your book. I'm not gonna buy that book or whatnot. And then that just maybe this that kind of stuff kind of discouraged me to even move forward. I like to write poetry, and I didn't know what direction I wanted to go. Battling with my own insecurities, and then I just said, you know what, black therapy. I went to school for social work, and I know a lot of us, we have we're the highest on the totem pole when it comes to mental health, and a lot of us kind of try to separate ourselves from mental health because we think that any type of mental health make us crazy. Oh, I don't need a strength. I don't need no social worker and all this other stuff. I've had social workers, you know. I've had, growing up from teenage years, even younger years to now. I look at the situations that I've been through, and I was just like, this stuff needs to be talked about, and um, try to vent in an art form is therapeutic.
Okay. Hence the name again, Black Therapy. So you're
Mhm.
saying not only was it therapy for the masses, but it was also, it sounds like you're saying an internal
Oh, it was
therapy for
definitely
yourself.
therapy for myself. It was definitely
Excellent.
therapy for myself because there was, every time I've written a book, I was scared to kind of go there about certain things. Um, being just worried about being politically correct because you have to say things correctly, and sometimes I just say stuff, even though because I'm educated, that doesn't mean that I have to be politically correct. Sometimes stuff just needs to be said. Some stuff just needs to be put out there, and who
So
I
the block,
really am. Sometimes I just put it out there.
so the boxing gloves came off this time, and you were
Indeed,
just no holds barred, just throwing the punches, keeping it real.
definitely.
Right now, cool. In your about the author section of Black Therapy, it was mentioned that you are the youngest and you have two older siblings. How has that impacted your journey thus far?
Well, because my sisters, like my mom, they could be they're like my rock, my father as well. But being the youngest, they'll say I was spoiled a lot. Um, and I learned from them because, you know, they I have one sister that's very like philosophical. She has this like psychology background, and then one of them is actually a social worker. And I think me and her are two different people, but no matter how different we are, it's just we're passionate for other people. And I've learned that about my sisters that we have a just like my mom, we're passionate about learning about different people, getting to understanding other people, helping other people if need be. So and I've seen the journeys they have took. Um in many ways, both of them are college educated. So I had no choice but to follow suit. My military father did not play that. Being that I was like, the only boy, he was just like, oh well, you got to go to college, you got to go to school, or you're going to work. And if I was able bodied, I guess he would send me to the military. But I went on and decided to get my education because my sister's done it, and I wanted to follow suit.
Right on. Now, you sort of mentioned this a little bit earlier. In your book, many of your statements have a sort of poetic flow to them. Now, do you also take your poetry and make music, write songs?
I used to in my younger days. I'm not as uh confident in my music writing anymore is because of, um, I guess it was my experience being on Mainstream Dream Chicago, which is the YouTube reality show I was on. Um, so many things so many things have happened dealing with people, and you know, negativity, stuff being said or whatever. And my thing is, I felt like if I wasn't doing music and I wasn't in the studio, because that's my first love, that's my first dream, then why even write music? There's nothing to
Say
motivate me.
that again.
My thing is, if I'm not in the studio, I have no access to a studio, why even waste time to write music? Because I felt like if I'm going to produce, if I want to be producing fruits as far as music, then I want to do everything. I don't like to half ass if I'm making any sense. So, and that's another reason why I went on and did poetry, because my thing was I got tired of having to kiss ass to get things done, having to put people in my circle, in my realm, when the energy wasn't really right. So I was just like, well, it's more to me than just music. I got other talents. So I went on out on a limb and decided to do poetry. And I believe that you don't have to wait for people to make a dream happen. If you see it for yourself, go on and do it. It may not be popular to other people, but if as long as it make you happy, who gives a fuck?
Now, the next question was going to be, speaking of the fact that you have an amazing singing voice, I was going to follow that up with, do you do any professional music? But it sounds like you're saying that without access to the studio and stuff like that, you don't bother with it.
Well, there is someone that just recently reached out to me, and because they saw me recently use Voicey, which is an app that makes you sound very auto-tune. And I was just playing with it. And I sent it to them because I've been knowing them for a long time. And they was just like, yes, I've been waiting for you to do this. Yes, come on. And they were motivating me, and they was telling me how much I motivate them. And I was just like, I never would have thought. So they offered to help me do some music, but I haven't got reconnected with them yet. So, I don't want to put things in stone, but that is one of my goals. But until then, I'm just going to wherever my mind sets up to be. With you giving me the chance to even be a host now on Verse TV, it really broadens up a whole nother side that I never knew I had. Like, just because sometimes I when I speak in a broken up way, and the way I think, and sometimes I'm like, maybe I'm not a good host. But my new
You're
family,
a great host.
thank you, and that means so much to me, because you guys really motivate me and pull things out of me that I never thought that I had, that I possess.
That's wonderful.
On IG, Rocky the Chicago Author, and you can find me on Facebook, Rocky the Chicago Author Santana, and whatever. And you can go get my books on Amazon and Kindle. Look up Marlon Stovall. You'll see all four of my books. I just recently put Black Therapy on Apple Books, so that's the only book that I have on Apple Books. So go ahead, if you're an Apple user, got an iPhone, go ahead and get Black Therapy. You'll love Black Therapy. If you're a person that believes in love and persevering in love, go get Stages of Perseverance. Go get Chapter in the Thing We Call Love, and go get Rebirth.